passionate about. Make a date with me.
Sweet, how can it be?
Hi, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Talkative Mom Show right here on MX24 with me, Eno Quagraine, your host. This is a parenting show where we discuss your favorite topics and I hook you up with the best plugs. Now, we all know that motherhood isn't always easy, and that is why today we'll be discussing breastfeeding struggles with a lactation consultant. Let's get interactive on all our social media platforms at MX24GH on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Talkative Mom. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Talkative Mom Show. We are at the Float Wellness Spa. This is a mommy wellness spa, first of its kind in Ghana. You can enjoy a variety of services such as organic pedicures and prenatal massages. Now, my lovely outfit is by Evic Store. Evic Store is located at East Legon, and they can also be found on Instagram at Evic Store. Now, today I have Jocelyn Crosby Agbeko. I call her Mrs. Agbeko. She is a lactation consultant. She's also a midwife, the midwife extraordinaire. I absolutely love her. She has a wealth of knowledge, and today she's going to share with us exactly, the intricacies of breastfeeding. Welcome, Jocelyn.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so Jocelyn, today we're going to be discussing breastfeeding. Okay. And for a lot of moms, it doesn't come as naturally as we would think it would. For a lot of us, we were told once you pop out the baby, you put the baby on the breast, that's it, breast milk is flowing. But it doesn't always happen. I have, I've been very vocal about my breastfeeding struggles. And so I want to know about you. You're a lactation consultant. How long have you been a midwife and a lactation consultant for? Okay,
so I've been a midwife almost 10 years.
Wow.
And I've been a lactation consultant for 3 years in December. Yeah, for 3 years. Yes.
Okay. So for you, was it, you're a mom of one.
Yes,
you have
I'm
one,
a mom.
One girl.
Yes.
How was it like when you were breastfeeding?
Okay, so my birth was impromptu.
Okay.
It didn't come out as planned. I had to give birth earlier than I should have.
Oh.
And then my baby came and I knew exactly what to do.
Okay.
So I thought the moment I start, it should flow from there. But then when I started breastfeeding, I realized that it was very painful.
Okay.
The latch was so painful, and everything that I would have thought a client, I tried it.
Okay.
I tried everything from the hospital up till about 2 months into my feeding journey before I could say that, I was feeding without pain. However, I was still maintaining my supply.
Okay.
So even by that time, my supply was doing amazing.
Yeah.
That's what I can say, yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't have it as easy as I was expecting to have it. And everybody around me was shocked because me of all, I should be the person to, but that was it.
So what was the issue?
So I found the reason when my child was 2.5 years old.
Wow.
One time I was just talking to when I had just returned from a consult where I did an oral assessment.
Okay.
So when I did the oral assessment, I realized that baby had a tongue tie and then a lip tie.
So an oral assessment is when
I checked the baby's mouth very well. But when I started lactation consulting, I would say that I was not really tethered tongue, that is tongue tie conscious.
Okay.
Because it was becoming like a thing. 1, 2, every baby is tongue tie. So to me it was like it's becoming too much.
Okay.
But then I decided, since it's becoming too much, let me now delve into it and empower myself more.
Okay, so since you empowered yourself, I want you to educate us on what exactly tongue ties are.
Okay, so tongue tie is, you see how you can easily lift your tongue off the floor of your mouth.
Okay.
And then sometimes there's a thin membrane that is holding the tongue down.
Okay.
We have it in various classes.
Okay.
So sometimes it can be said that the baby can still lift the tongue. And that is one thing that most caregivers miss, because they say, oh, the baby can lift the tongue off the floor, so that's fine. We have posterior, where you have to do an oral assessment, go deep for you to see that the very back of the tongue is held down. And then we have lip tie, where when you lift the upper lip, there's a membrane there that is holding the lip to the gum.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I did an initial oral assessment when the baby was a newborn. I think I got there about 3 or 4 days old.
Okay.
Then when the mom was about to start solids, we came to a point where I'm that type that I do not force anything on you.
Right.
So we came to a point where we were going to keep the supply, because nothing we're trying was working.
Okay.
So I had to just help her to keep her supply, and she did amazing. 5 months she kept her supply.
Okay.
So when baby was around 5 months, she called me in. We're about to start solid, but I want you to come in and then help me. So when we're about to start the solid, I went there and I said, okay, let me just do an oral assessment.
Okay.
Then I realized now I can see very well there's a tongue tie and there's a lip tie.
Wow.
So I felt like that's very consults. For once, the mom was able to breathe and felt like it has never been my fault. It was never me.
Yes.
So I go home and I said, come, I told my daughter, you could have not even done oral assessment for you. Let me do it. Tongue, lip. Her lip tie is, the membrane is right in between her 2 teeth. So it made me also understand when she started solid till now, she never opens her mouth wide. She would do like that. And we thought it was her. So that moment I was like, this was the reason why I was in so much pain for 2 whole months.
Because she couldn't latch properly.
She couldn't latch, and it was as if someone was trying to rip my nipple away from my chest. And I had a cesarean section. And I remember sitting on the hospital bed and crying. I can see my mom's face looking at me, and she can't do anything to help me. So I just resorted to exclusive pumping. So I was exclusively pumping for her till 2 months. When we learned other ways, we just ignored all the positions the book says, and we found our perfect relationship that was working for us. When you come and see us breastfeeding, it was weird. It looked so weird, but both of us were comfortable. There was no pain. And
I'm interested to know.
So she's on me like this, and my hand. This is something I normally use for babies who have issues with their muscle tone. Like if a baby is born and has like maybe Down syndrome, late preterm. So I hook. It's called dancer hand, like the position, yes. So I just, you know how dancers do this. So my hand is hooking her chin in a way to my breast like that, and she's sitting on me like this. Wow. So that's how we're breastfeeding, and it worked for us. It was fine. I support my back, and then she was like that. And she's a newborn. Sometimes I support the back, and my mom is passing, and she's like, hey.
What is this? Because it's not what we know.
Hey, but when she was around 4 months, she could just latch in any position. But at least after the 2 months to 4 months, that was what was helping us.
So for your daughter, what class was that? Because you said there are different classes for the tongue ties.
It was class 3. It was the worst of it.
Wow.
Yes. And her tongue, for her tongue tie, she had a posterior tie. So that means she could lift her. That's why the pediatrician was like, oh, she's fine. She can easily lift her tongue off, but it's posterior. So the back is hooked. That means that when I latch, she's not able to open wide enough for the nipple to get all the way back there. So now when you run your tongue up, you see that this place is very hard. So that part was the one that was pressing on my nipple. And because when it does that, there's not enough milk coming. She also sucks strongly,
and that's what's causing the
pain. So that was what was causing my
pain. So when it comes to tongue ties, does that affect the baby? Are they in pain as well?
No.
They are not in pain? No.
But you know, in our system, when the baby comes out, everybody cares about the baby.
Yes.
So if baby is getting the milk, then that's fine. But the mom, the pain you are going through, because in the hospital, people are like, put the nipple in the baby's mouth. Even when you're in excruciating pain, everybody's encouraging you to go through the pain and then give the milk to the baby.
Yes. So I'm so happy you brought that up. Now you've brought our attention to the fact that it's not always the mother's fault. Sometimes it could be issues like that. So who checks for things like that? You've given birth to your baby. Your baby is tongue-tied. You have no idea. How many moms even know how to do an oral assessment? So what happens? What's the right process? Do you does the pediatrician check, or is there a dentist that checks this? It has to do with the tongue. Educate us on that.
Okay, so ideally, if you have your baby in a perfect world, in a perfect continent, when you have the baby, before you have the baby, you take a prenatal breastfeeding class. You see your lactation consultant actually starts working with you from pregnancy. So assess your breast. Oh, your nipple is fine, your nipple is inverted, prepares your mind. Since your nipple is flat or inverted, this and this is what we are going to be doing on day 1. There's a possibility that baby will be separated from you. So the moment baby is separated, this and this is what we are going to do. And then baby comes, and they are giving birth in a hospital that is hospital baby friendly.
So when you say baby friendly, what do you mean?
Not just on their signboard or their billboard. I mean, baby friendly means that they are going to be providing enabling environments for every mom who would like to breastfeed. That means they should have an in-house, at least a peer lactation group support, or a lactation counselor or a lactation consultant. They should also be there to support the mom, not encouraging her to give up. Also not forcing her to force anything down her throat. She should also be assessed by people who are breastfeeding conscious. When I say assess, a pediatrician will assess, and most of the time they are conscious about the health of the baby. Oh, the mouth, anatomically everything is fine. Baby, they put the hand in and baby is sucking fine and all that. But then somebody else, now then a lactation consultant comes in and then looks at the breastfeeding relationship, does the assessment again, because a breast pregnant is the different breast with the baby.
You mean the shape?
The shape. There are some changes that occurs, and even how the birth went. If it was a very prolonged traumatic birth, a lot of IV fluids and things, it affects the shape of the breast afterwards. You start having engorgement and all that. And even let's say you had a cesarean section, baby may come out more drowsy, mommy is tired, and all this. So this person now whatever we learned when you were pregnant. Now this is it. This is your baby. So let's see how we can adjust whatever we learn to fit you and your baby. So the person observes the breastfeeding relationship, and it comes up with a breastfeeding plan.
Wow.
So that is ideally in a perfect world, that's how it should be, but that is not how
it is here. Yes. You know, it's such a shame because in a lot of hospitals in Ghana, moms are almost shamed. They are shamed, they are judged if they are not breastfeeding. Even if it's breast milk but it's in a bottle, you are still, you are still judged. And I think you've actually shared a story like that where you were bottle feeding and your daughter was tongue-tied and you were still shamed. So what do you think, what do you think the way forward is when it comes to things like that? Because we say we should encourage moms and not force them. What do you think the way forward is? How do you think even if there's no lactation consultants in the hospital and there's just a midwife, what should she do? How can she assist the mother? What should the mother also do in terms of advocating?
I think that when it comes to breastfeeding, it starts from pregnancy. It starts with the mind. I even say it starts before pregnancy, because if you are somebody who has been able to see a lot of people breastfeed, like in the olden days, you live in a common house, you see your auntie give birth breastfeeding, this person gives birth breastfeeding, and now it's like you don't even see. And some people's even seeing actually breastfeeding in person, not on TV, is the first time they have their child. So sometimes making up the mind to breastfeed even start before you get pregnant. And then when you get pregnant, you're making sure that you're feeding well, because as I said, in the early stages of breastfeeding, what your body is using to make the milk is what you ate during pregnancy. So during breastfeeding time, what you eat is actually to fill the maternal stores, because your body will keep taking and taking and taking till you have nothing left. So to fill the maternal, so you are having good prenatal nutrition. And then you are very, very particular about where you choose to have your baby. Very, very important. Now, as much as you want a place that will encourage you to breastfeed, just as we say, we don't want a place that will force it down your throat. Because one thing I have realized in my profession is that anytime you force somebody to do something, they do it for you. They don't do it for themselves.
So when you're alone, they won't do it.
They won't do it. When they get home, they won't do it. But I think that empower the woman to be in the position where the person now says, okay, I want to breastfeed. And I think that the tactics of breastfeeding education should change in our country, where we are talking about the importance. Yes, breast milk is important, but we have gotten to a point where every person knows the importance of breastfeeding. We
all know its importance. We all know.
We know. Now tell us, how do we get this importance out of the breastfeeding? How do we latch our babies? How do we feed our babies? How do we feed our babies and still have an intact mental health? How do we do all that?
So
that looking at sometimes when you go to a facility and you're having a chat with them, the way they speak to you will let you know that these people, when I give birth, the way they will stress me out.
Exactly.
You see, and so that's it. And then still with the mom yourself, you also want to educate yourself about normal newborn behaviors.
Okay.
Because I've seen that a lot of moms give up because they do not understand the normal newborn behaviors. Right. So now I've even added that to my breastfeeding class, where I teach normal newborn behaviors before we talk about breastfeeding. Because there are lots of things that you thought it was weird. Someone else made a comment that it was weird, but it was actually normal. Like baby always wanting to feed in the early days. Breast milk takes about 45 minutes to digest, 45 to 1.5 hours.
Now, you know what? I'm actually enjoying this conversation so much, but we need to go for a commercial break. When we get back, we're going to be learning so much more. Stay tuned.
It won't go away. I've got that feeling.
It's almost that time of the year. We're counting down to Accra's creamiest festival event. This Christmas season, ARC Event, in partnership with MX24, is freezing the time to give off a frozen experience. It's Ice Cream Fair 2021, the Time Freeze edition. All day and into the night, we're freezing the time with all your favorite ice cream flavors from Accra's finest ice cream vendors. Get ready for the live music, the photos,
I got my hands on your
the giveaways, the games, and more of those fun activities the whole family can enjoy. The Ice Cream Fair is on Boxing Day on the 26th December 2021. Get a stand now. Call 055-80-774-40 and follow at Ice Cream Fair Ghana on social media to stay posted for all updates. The Ice Cream Fair 2021, hashtag the Time Freeze edition, powered by ARC Event in partnership with MX24.
Welcome back to the Talkative Mom Show. We have Jocelyn Crosby Agbeko, who is a midwife and lactation consultant, and today she's educating us on breastfeeding. Now, Jocelyn, before the break, you were talking about normal baby behavior. What is normal baby behavior?
So there are some behaviors that is expected of every newborn, but then because we always want to equate a newborn to an adult, we see it as abnormal. Okay. For instance, because you eat 3 meals a day, you're expecting your baby to come to eat maybe about 4 or 5 maximum, snack in between. Yeah. But that is not it. They eat at the early stages, the first 6 weeks, they are really, their whole life is about their tummy. Okay. So breast milk goes in 45 minutes, 1.5 hours maximum, it's gone. Sometimes you get it to about 2 hours, it has been digested. Now, the way when your baby poops and pees, that is milk gone. Okay. And then sometimes we also don't know, is my baby full? How will I know even my baby is full? Yes. So there are some normal newborn behaviors that you get to know that, okay, even though I'm not seeing my milk come out, my baby is full. Like the number of diaper outputs, even the change in the poo-poo color from the green to the mustard yellow, and then the number of urine coming will tell you that, oh, baby is having enough. Okay. So, and then you also should know that the colostrum is very thick. Yes. Very, very thick.
So the colostrum is the first milk that comes out.
And that is from the breast milk. Yeah. And that is produced whilst you are 16 weeks. Oh. Yes. So right now I've stopped using the language, your milk has not come in again. Because the milk is already sitting in there. Okay. But you need some effort to bring it out. You continue to have to tell your brain that baby is out. Baby is out. Though your placenta, when it was delivered, sends the signal. But you still have to send us. How do you do it? By stimulating the nipple. Well, your baby sucking. Your baby sucking. Okay. If your baby is separated from you, you can go in with your hands. Your hands does magic than a breast pump, especially with colostrum, because it is too thick for it to be brought out by the breast pump in the beginning. So you use your hand to stimulate the nipple. Hand expression to stimulate the nipple. So even if your baby is separated from you, even if you just came from cesarean section, whilst lying there, you can just slip your hand into your gown and then be stimulating the nipple here and here, so that there's information getting to the brain that, hey, now. Yeah. Yes.
I want us to address certain things. For me, like I told you, I struggled. Yeah. And I was told I was supposed to drink soup. I was supposed to eat lactation cookies. I was supposed to, what else did I do? Tea, fennel tea. Mash. How do these things even work?
Okay, so these, yes and no. Okay. And these things have not been, even the other things that we call galactogogues, like they are foods that support lactation. Okay. FDA has not approved any of them in terms that research has not really come to a conclusion that just like mashke gives you milk and all that. But it's because of years and years of people's experience.
Okay.
But that aside, on its own, it does not work.
On its own.
On its own, it would never work.
Okay.
But if you are consistently stimulating your breast, that is putting baby to the breast, pumping your breast, and we also remember that if baby is okay, normal, well, came out breathing well, crying, they suck stronger than a pump. It doesn't matter the brand of pump. They suck stronger. They're able to remove milk from your breast stronger, which will boost your supply. When we say supply, we mean that it would, it will increase the milk that comes out.
Right.
So but if you are doing it together with stimulation, it is magical.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, so it doesn't work on its own.
On its own, no. Like you have low milk supply and you are saying, oh, I've been eating this, but you are not stimulating. And it's not about, someone said, Jocelyn, but I've been pumping. It's not about even the fact that you've been pumping, it's about how many times you are doing it.
Okay.
Because another normal newborn behavior is that your baby would have fed about 8 to 12 times a day in the first 6 weeks. Yes.
Okay.
So that means if you are going to be pumping,
You have to pump
you
that
have
many
to be
times.
doing it exactly, because one thing is that when the baby is sucking or suckling, baby dictates because the milk grows with your baby. So by 1 week, baby doesn't take the same amount anymore, and then your brain knows it. And then, but when you're using a pump, it's like one steady information you keep giving. So every time I pump 3 times, every time I pump 4 times, and it is not growing with your baby.
Right.
Yes. So that's another thing. But if you know all these things, then you know that, okay, at least the first, if nothing at all, the first 2 weeks, you should be able to be bringing baby to the breast 8 to 12 times or pumping 8 to 12 times the first 2 weeks you have. Because by 2 weeks, your brain is like, oh, okay, I think now I'm getting it. She normally asks for about 450, 550 a day. Okay, and I'm the part of the brain that also take care of your temperature control and everything. So I have a lot of work to do. So your brain is like, okay, now 550, all the people who are, part of how we give 550. Yeah. But then by 6 weeks, your brain says, finally, the 550. Because, so your brain learns. So if you are doing 3 times a day, if you are putting babies to breast 3 times a day, your brain continue giving you that. And remember that around 6 weeks, your baby is taking about 4 or 5 times what they were taking at 2 weeks. But still your body is giving you that because that is what you have been consistently accepting.
Yeah, wow. So, in Ghana, lactation consultation is new.
Yes.
I bet there's someone who has never even heard about this before. And you find yourself in people's homes, assisting mothers. I just want you to share some of your experiences. Do they embrace you when you go?
It has been a roller coaster.
Okay.
But always, one thing I would say, always my clients embrace me is the other part of the team. The moms, the in-laws. And there are some homes that, for instance, I was in a home yesterday and it was so beautiful.
Okay.
Like the partner was there and asking questions, and he does the bottle feeding. So he came, and then I learned they've been telling him things. He says no, and then when we showed and he understood, he was like, oh, okay. Yes. So, and the partners, I don't know what is happening, but the partners now I've been meeting.
The ones you've been meeting.
They are extraordinary. Like they are involved. I had one partner with about 10 questions written on a sheet of paper waiting for me when I got to the consult. So but sometimes I get the in-laws. I went to one home where I got one in-law just passed by and said, hey, so because of breastfeeding, you brought somebody here. And so she comes and says, madam, you went to school just to learn breastfeeding. But this one is simple. You can just do it. Then I asked one question, how long did she breastfeed? She said, I was breastfeeding, it was easy. I was like, how long did you breastfeed? And then that was when I realized that what she thought was even breastfeeding was not the same thing as because the woman wanted exclusive. But she started feeding Coco around 3 months.
Oh, okay.
At that time. Yes. And I also asked her, how was the home like? And she was like, oh, it was a big home. Your auntie is there to take your baby. But now the average couple are just alone. By themselves. Yeah. So so far, I would say people are embracing me. Okay. Because sometimes people call me out of the blue and then I'm shocked.
And how do you even know about me?
But once I realized that people who have been reading, when you are having challenges, you keep surfing the internet. Yes. And then everything keep telling you lactation consultant. Yeah. So they already come in knowing, yes. And then I get a few people, just about 20%, who come in and then tell me their problem and see how I can help them or take them to the right person.
So,
And then-
so you're able to assist virtually as well? Not
Yes, I'm able to assist virtually, but
Okay.
it depends on the
issue. Okay.
So everybody, before you book, we first have to have a call.
Okay.
So the call was sometimes after the call, I realized that you just need a few tips. There's no need for you to book a consult. And then we will talk. So the talk will make me know if you need to do an in-home consult or an online consult.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. So I want to know for you, like, what has been like your lowest points in your job? Like, have you, because you're a midwife as well.
Yes.
What, just share one of your lowest
Ooh.
and how you overcame that.
Okay, since we are talking about breastfeeding, let me talk about breastfeeding. I'm one person who likes to have control.
Okay.
And I like results. And when I don't get results, it traumatizes me. So I was on a top up. I was doing a breastfeeding top up while going for a consult.
When you say you're doing a breastfeeding top up, what does
So
that
I was doing a top up for my breastfeeding course. I'm empowering myself.
Oh,
so I was
okay.
topping up.
Okay.
So it was a 5-day program.
Okay.
So we closed and then I had a consult and then I went to I always say that it was a perfect timing. And I had this mom who had breastfed for 3 months.
Okay.
And she was really having challenges. And then she got in touch with me. And she was like, "You are my last resort. After you, I am done." I said, "Okay."
Done breastfeeding.
Done breastfeeding. So I was like, I'm pumped. It's like,
Yeah.
It was that one time I prayed that, God, just let me be the hope for her.
Yes.
So I went to her home. It was one of the homes I said, I was, hey, so breastfeeding is that home. So when I went, she was willing, she was doing everything. She has tried everything. And then we tried.
Okay.
We tried a few things. And so the milk was starting like 5 mils. 3 months was like 5 mils.
Wow.
Then we came to 15 mils. Then we came to 30 mils, but we're just at 30 mils. Then one time I told her that if you go for your review or you go to visit the doctor, tell them to do a hormonal test because you had issues getting pregnant.
Okay.
She had difficulty with getting pregnant. She had a baby by IVF. And you know, these all hormones work together to support birth and yes. So I knew that we have challenges, but I didn't know it would get to that extent.
Okay.
When she did her hormone test, it was her hormones are against her. So her thyroid, prolactin, like everything. And she even had to do a surgery. And it was through the consults where she ended up knowing that she had to do she had to have a surgery. And till date, it's that one consult that keeps hunting me because I felt like it does. And then I was in that class. So when I go for the consult, I'll come and tell the panel and then our lecturers in the class that this and this and this. And then they kept telling me that you will never win when it comes to breastfeeding. It's not every single case.
Yes,
but
of course.
I still didn't.
I want us to discuss some of the myths because I know there are a lot of myths.
Yes.
When it comes to breastfeeding. Okay. So is it true that the milk, our oldies,
yes,
they have so much to say when it comes to breastfeeding. They say milk that is sitting in your breast, that is its fault. You have to pump it out and then give the baby the fresh milk. How true is this?
Okay, so anytime someone says that I have this, what about the blood that is sitting in our veins? How about does it get spoiled?
Yeah.
No, as much as the moment the thing is inside you, there's constant blood supply, there's constant communication. And it's like the perfect place for it to be done, for it to come out. Though our breast is not a storage container, as I always say. But the issue is that it doesn't go bad.
Okay.
It doesn't go bad. The only thing is that, and I always say that in the olden days, they had whatever they were saying had some form of truth in it. It's the facts behind it that was wrong. Actually, the milk shouldn't sit in your breast for long. Because the more the milk is sitting in, the more there is a protein called feedback inhibitor.
Okay.
It just sends a message to your brain that, please, the milk you gave her is sitting there. So she doesn't need, so don't bring it. And I know as new moms, it feels good when you feel like your boobs are
heavy.
Yes. I have milk,
Yeah.
but no. So in a way, I feel like in the olden days,
Yes. There was some truth to
the
it,
milk
but
is not
yes.
supposed to sit in there. It's
Yeah.
supposed to come out. It's a transition, like get in, come out, get in, come out.
Okay.
But it doesn't go bad. Yes, not at all.
When you say the milk shouldn't sit in for long, what's the duration?
I always say that the moment you start feeling uncomfortable, like my breast already, I call the kokonsa, the feedback inhibitor. Already kokonsa has gone to say everything.
Yeah.
Already your brain knows
Yeah.
that it has been sitting there for a while.
Okay.
So normally you don't want your breast to feel full.
Okay.
You want to constantly ensure that it's empty. It's like, in a way, you want to tell your brain that whatever you think you are doing is not enough. You see, it's empty. So give me more. So that's what you want to do. Yes.
Okay. When I had my baby, I went to the hospital and the midwife examined me and said my boobs were heavy. What she told me was that it was going to get very hard. I was going to get feverish and I would fall sick. And that I should apply a warm towel on my boob, massage it with shea butter, and eventually the milk would come out. How true is that as well? That's something I've always been curious about.
Okay, so yes, when milk sits in there, your breast becomes engorged.
Okay.
Now it becomes engorged where you even see it in the tissues. You see it's becoming big. Sometimes it may get red. And then if you don't take care, engorgement ends up in mastitis. That's
so
when
engorgement means
that it's getting bigger.
Okay.
So the lobules, the tissues, the part of the breast that makes the breast milk and the containers that the milk collects in keeps expanding now, puts pressure on the surrounding tissues.
Okay.
And then your brain also thinks that something is happening and your brain sends more blood supply there. So as the brain is sending more blood there, so that whatever is happening, is it an infection? What is it? That also adds on to how big your boob keeps coming. And then if you had a lot of IV infusion during the birth, it also adds on to the early stage engorgement.
Okay.
So the best part is bring the milk out. And remember that time we said that colostrum is thick.
Yes.
So the colostrum has now blocked the entry because since it was produced first, it's now in front. And then the matured milk is at the back.
Okay.
So it uses something called passive pressure. So new milk pushes old milk forward. And now that one is thicker and it's sitting there.
And has blocked
the way. And you know, it's one of the milk that also has all the goodies.
Yes.
But it has blocked, it's sitting there. So the more you're able to bring it out. And the shea butter thing, yes, it works. Massaging the breast works, but still you have to find a way and then bring it out. So massaging, you alternate between cold and warm compress. So warm if you want to get the milk out, and then cold if you don't want the milk to come out. You want to put, because when it is engorged and you keep enhancing it to come out, new milk is produced and it keeps getting big. That's one thing about engorgement that we don't know. So you want to control how the milk comes out so that you get rid of that one first and then now the flow is.
Right. So Jocelyn, before you go, I want your real honest thoughts on fed is best, breast is best. So, there's a whole campaign out there. Breast is best. And then some of us who are advocating for fed is best. Because I honestly always believe that not every mom would be fortunate enough to breastfeed. And I also know that not every mom wants to breastfeed. And I've always advocated for, babies just being fed. So what's your real thoughts on that, being a lactation consultant?
Okay, so I started out with breast is best. And then I came to a point, I got to fed is best.
Okay.
Then as, the more you grow in the profession, you learn some few things. And I realized that breast is not best. Fed is not best.
Okay.
Breast is normal. Empowered is best. Informed is best. Supported is best. Being someone respecting your views, your way of parenting is best. Because if someone is informed enough, someone is empowered and supported enough, then the person wants to breastfeed and then is able to do it successfully. Someone is informed enough, empowered enough, supported enough, wants to do fed is best, and the person is able to do it successfully. Now, even fed is best doesn't even mean formula. As we think.
That's true.
Fed is best mean feeding your baby anyway. But I want to say that actually none of them is best. Breast is normal because biologically it's a biological norm. Even mammals breastfeed their babies. However, our breastfeeding stories are not the same. And it's like there's no enabling environment for us to breastfeed our babies. We say so, but how many companies in Ghana have a place where the mother who just returned from maternity leave can comfortably have a seat and then pump
None.
to enhance her supply?
A lot of them have to sit in their car. Some of them don't even have cars, so go to the bathroom.
Now look at the hospital bed. Is it enabling?
No, it's
hospital
not.
Bed with a leather covered pillow. How does it support breastfeeding? So before we have the battle of breast is best and all that, I think that we should change the campaign and make sure that the women are empowered, the women are informed, the women are supported, and we create an enabling environment for everybody to take a decision to feed her baby the best way possible.
That's true. You know, I look back at a lot of the things that you have said, and I realized I saw some of the things that I was lacking, because I always said, oh, I just couldn't breastfeed. But I don't think I had enough education. Yes, there are things online, but there's so much information online that you don't even know what to even. And then you have, you know, the older generation telling you this and this is what I ate during my time. And how come you are eating it and it's not working?
And it's like you're not trying enough.
And you're not trying enough. And you know, for those who don't know, that's how I met you, because I met you on WhatsApp, and I remember you were sharing your supply. And you said, oh, you're not sharing it to boast or anything. I mean, this is really what you do. And so if anyone wants assistance, and I said, shoot, I've already had both babies. And that time I'd weaned them. They were weaned up because there was no more breast milk coming in. And it was interesting you brought up the fact that as the baby is growing, their appetite, everything is increasing. Because that's what happened. At the beginning, I felt like I got this. And then they were demanding more, crying at the breast because there wasn't enough breast milk coming in. And I don't think I was equipped, or I had enough knowledge to actually breastfeed. So I think it's really important what you just said. Moving for the future, what do you think we can do when it comes to these? Because August is Breastfeeding Awareness Month. What are some of the things that you think we can do as a society? The government can do, hospitals can do. What do you think we can do?
Okay, so first of all, I think it's about time we stop the Breastfeeding Awareness Month. We create a podium. We gather some breastfeeding moms and then some health workers, and we give a long speech. It's about time we do the speech that we give. So if we say, on paper, every hospital in Ghana, every government hospital in Ghana is baby friendly. Now, are they baby friendly? Now, it's about time that we put in measures to enhance the environment that these moms breastfeed in. First of all, it starts with the birth. We should limit the intervention about the birth. No, we are in a hurry. Now we are in a hurry about birth. We want to just hurriedly, you know, normally the holiday seasons are the induction seasons and augmentation season, because we want to hurry the birth. Now, C-section, someone comes and then we keep giving instruction, put your baby to the breast. We should have people there. It doesn't have to be a lactation consultant. Can we just get people trained?
That's true.
The 2-day workshops we give to midwives, it's not cutting it, because the same midwife sometimes has to deliver 3-4 babies. Now that this one has delivered, she has to come and support it. Another person is in labor.
Exactly.
How does she get the time to come and support this person? So let's have people designated to support women breastfeed immediately after birth. It's not about put the nipple in the baby's mouth. It's about actually support. And this person has to be empowered to know about breastfeeding. And I always say that I thought I knew about breastfeeding, but when I took the course, I realized that everything that I knew was just about 10% of the information that was out there, how to support people to breastfeed.
When you took the course, you mean the
lactation? Yes.
Okay.
So I realized that I just knew a little, but in my facility at that time, I was the go-to breastfeeding person.
Wow.
Yes. So we have to empower these midwives. Lactation consultation, the International Board of Lactation Consultants. I think that if the country come together and put people together that we want you to come and train, give us a training organization to train them and certify them, I think they will do that. Private hospitals, I think we are paying enough to have your services. Now, why don't you put in extra effort to make life better for every mom who comes to your facility? Get a lactation counselor, provide enabling environment. Just get them. If you have hospital pumps for babies who be separated from their mothers, so that mothers can start pumping immediately. The country as a whole, policy making. Policy should change. Things should change. It's about time that we actually do a lot of things. The speeches are good, but they are becoming a lot. I think so. That is my personal opinion. They are becoming, I think it's about time that now we should come up with a campaign that actually gives actionable results. Then, lastly, we would also like to talk to the family and then the whole friends and peer group, everybody that's supporting a woman to breastfeed. You are actually a person in the background in the woman's story. She leads, you follow. If you want to help her, empower her. I have people who book classes as a gift to a friend.
So empowering is like
empowering her.
You know, getting education.
Getting education. Be there for her. Help her. Just take the baby 2 minutes and let her have some rest. And sometimes you just also have to just keep quiet and watch her make a decision, because sometimes keeping quiet and allowing the woman to feel powerful enough to make a decision to take care of their own babies build their trust in the breastfeeding journey.
So if you're trying to help empower a mom, and you have excess breast milk and you'd like to maybe donate, what are your thoughts on that?
When you look at the ways to breastfeed a baby, the first point is give your milk to your baby. Even for preterm babies, the next one is give donor milk.
Okay.
Then the next one is give formula.
Okay.
So that all things being equal, this is how things should go. However, donor milk is not regulated in our country. Not yet though.
Okay.
But now I get moms, for instance, 2 months ago, there was a mom who had a freezer full of milk she wanted to give out.
Wow.
And it's not well regulated. So now there's like informal ways where people are sharing milk. And that is all over the world. It's not just in Ghana.
Okay.
It's all over the world. Sometimes mom will say, I'm in this part of the country. I need this. My baby's in the NICU. And they say, oh, I have this milk. Bring it over. It's happening in the US everywhere.
Okay.
But in Ghana, our system of belief, our culture, a lot of these things are affecting how these things, but because by now it should have blown up by now. Because a lot of people have milk. I had milk, I couldn't give it to anybody. But it's not well regulated. But people are doing it behind the scene.
Okay.
But if it should be done, then you should also know about the health history of the person.
Okay.
And then you're able to do it. If it's a donor company that is doing it, the donor milk, they normally do some tests, check it to see examine, check you and all that. When they get the milk, they check.
Okay.
But here, you don't have any control over, But however, still, people are doing it. I'm all for it. If it becomes a thing, we'll all support it and make it grow.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what are your final words to any mom out there that is struggling to breastfeed?
Okay. So what I want to tell you is that the fact that you've even tried and you're struggling, you have done well. The fact that you even made the decision to start, you have done well. One thing I will let you know is that set smaller breastfeeding goals from the word go. Start with 2 weeks. So your main goal is that you give birth to your baby and the first 2 weeks you'll be able to give some amount of breast milk. And then when you kick the 2 week and then you add 4 weeks, because sometimes the 6 weeks, yes, WHO says 6 weeks. That is the ultimate goal for you to have exclusive breastfeeding. But when if you're able to start small, wherever you get to, you're able to appreciate the effort and the result that you produce. But if your goal was 6 months and you're not able to even get to 4 months, I asked people, did you do exclusive? You said, no, I was able to do it 4 months. I said, yes. If you had done it 1 week, I want you to say, I did exclusive 1 week. And sometimes it's all about, did you breastfeed your baby? So let's take the all or nothing approach out for now. Now, if breastfeeding is working for you, congratulations. But if it is not working, get support. You need a lactation consultant, not just when you want to do exclusive. Even when you want to feed formula, you need a lactation consultant.
Wow.
Because you want to still maintain your supply in a way that it moves together. Yes, you are doing formula. Yes, your breast milk is also coming in a way that they complement each other.
Okay.
And also make sure that if the people who are supporting you are not supporting you, are not good for your mental health, it's actually better for you to be on your own than for you to get people around you who are critiquing every little thing that you do. So make sure that you build your breastfeeding team before the baby comes. And remember that breastfeeding is an art. And every art needs to be learned. We don't just get perfect from the word go. So take it one day at a time and never quit on your worst day.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jocelyn. Breastfeeding is an art. I love that. So we'll go for a quick commercial break. When we get back, we have Work It.
Hi there, I'm excited to come your way with football conversations, sports-related conversations, light-hearted, lifestyle-related conversations about the sport that we all love and are passionate about. Make a date with me.
Hello, my name is Elikem Emi Akafo. I'm the CEO of Milkmaid GH. I am a wife and a mother of 3. Milkmaid is a brand of lactation treats, specially made for nursing mothers to help them produce more breast milk. So you ask, why Milkmaid? Well, 3 years ago, or 4 years ago actually, when I had my second child, I struggled a lot with breast milk production, right from the hospital till I got back home. I tried so many things. You know, your mother will prepare palm nut soup for you, you take all the mashke, you take all the things, but nothing was working for me. So as a modern day mom, I did what every mom would do. I went on Google, I researched a lot on foods that boost milk supply, and I came by lactation treats. I was like, this is a nice thing to do. And being a baker, because previously I was baking, I was doing cakes and all of that. So being a baker, I was like, okay, I can do this. So I started baking, I started doing them for myself. I had a few friends who had also had babies and were struggling. So I decided to help them out as well, handing out samples. And then they loved it and it worked for them. So I was like, well, why not make a business out of this and help other mothers? And that's how Milkmaid came about. 4 years ago, I started from my kitchen with my tiny little oven and my tiny mixer. I started producing for like, let's say 10 people. You know, I started making about 50, 60 cookies a day to supply to people. But today, here we are in a new space. I've employed 4 people to help me with the packaging and the baking and everything. Now we produce about, let's say 30 to 40 boxes a day of cookies daily. So your cookies are baked fresh and they are very delicious. And so that's how we started. We progressed. It's not been an overnight success. It's been 4 years of doing the same thing, improving, adding on more products. When we started, we had just 2 flavors of cookies, but now we have cookies, we have hot cocoa, we have Tom Brown, granola, banana bread, and there are more coming this December, so watch out. The business has been, people have taken on to it quite well. I wasn't expecting this kind of response because I know that a lot of people are more, you know, drawn towards maybe the abenkwai and the other things that our mothers do to help our milk supply. But for me, I realized that those things were making me gain weight. And then, I mean, who wants to gain weight after 9 months of weight gain after the baby has come? You don't want to continue gaining weight. So I was looking at a healthier way of producing breast milk without the weight gain. And I found a lot of people were very welcoming to the idea. It's been 4 years. I believe that people have come to understand that these things work and they are very helpful, and people have been very welcoming to it. Better than I expected, yeah. So our products have helped over 500 mothers to reach their 6 months exclusive goal and even beyond. Even if they're not able to get to 6 months, at least even if it's 2 months, 3 months, we all know that breast milk is the most important diet any baby could have. So even if you're able to do 2 months with our products to help your baby have the breast milk for that period, I believe it's excellent. And we've received a lot of feedback, a lot of positive feedback. They love our cookies. They keep asking us to add more products, so we are working on it. You'll be seeing new products very soon. So my typical day starts from 8:30. We come in, we get everything ready for the day. The baking team starts with their baking. They do all the prep work before they start baking the cookies. The packaging team also does their packaging. Delivery starts at 10:30. That's when the rider comes in for the packages. During the day we receive orders, which we package as we go along and call other riders to come and pick up if the first rider has left. Okay, so the baking team, they bake the cookies daily. They also package the hot cocoa, the granola. So we do little batches of everything daily. So everything is baked fresh. We try to maintain that freshness of our products as much as possible. Around 4, we start packaging the cookies for the next day's delivery. I close at 3 because I have to go and pick up the kids. I pick them up at 3. I pick 2 of them. The last born is usually, she's a baby, 1.5 years. So I leave her here with grandma while I go and pick the other kids. Then I come back and pick her up. Then we go home, we get ready for bed, homework, supper, you know, the whole thing. Yeah, and they sleep, hopefully, around 7:30 or 8, depending on how hyper they are for the day. And yeah, and that's when my day actually starts. It's when they all fall asleep. I have some me time, I go through the sales, I reconcile everything. So yeah, and I sleep around 11, 12, and that's my typical day. Every small business, we have challenges. Number one challenge is always financial. Yes, because most of what you see has been pre-financed by the business and by my personal funds. Yes, so there's always a need for more money, you know, buying things in bulk. When it comes to packaging, buying our packages in bulk purchases of materials and all of that. So yeah, those are the challenges we face. So my advice to mothers who want to start their business, my advice is just start it. You don't have to have everything ready, you don't have to have everything perfect. Just start it, because a year from now you wish you had started a year ago. So whatever it is you want to do, no matter how silly it may sound, because when I started with the lactation cookies, I mean, a lot of people hadn't even heard about it. They were like, lactation, what? Is it biscuits? Is it this? What biscuits? Is it? Some people will come and ask you, want to buy some of the biscuits. I mean, it was sometimes discouraging, because I was like, it's not a very Ghanaian concept. It was very foreign, but here we are today, and it's been amazing. So whatever it is you want to do, no matter how crazy the idea is, just go ahead and do it, and you'll be glad you did. My mantra for life is Romans 8:28. All things work together for good for them that love God. With this, I know that no matter what I'm doing, no matter how bad it may seem, I know that it will definitely turn out for good.
What questions are on your mind? Does partisanship permeate every aspect of Ghanaian life? Can Africans truly run their own affairs without a need for foreign aid? Do you have absolute confidence in the ability of security agencies to come to your aid when you need it? Do the emergency lines in this country even work? For answers to these and more, join me, Noang Falong, on MX24.
Hi, and welcome back to the Talkative Mom Show. That was Elikem Akafo of Milkmaid Lactating Cookies. Now, Elikem was just showing us how exactly she makes her yummy cookies for our yummy mamas. Now, I'd like for you to meet my mom plug of the day, who is Dr. Esi Afo of Right Dental Care. She's a general dentist, and today she's going to show us exactly how to brush your child's teeth as well as yours. So, hi, Doc.
Hello, Eno. Thank you so much for the invitation.
So what exactly are these?
Okay, so I have here demonstration models. I have different types of toothbrushes. I have a tongue scraper.
What are the different types of toothbrushes?
Okay, so we have a soft toothbrush here.
Okay, let me try the bristles. Oh, this is really soft.
And this is a hard toothbrush.
Okay. But are we allowed to use a hard toothbrush?
No. You know, hard toothbrushes damage your teeth. So we advise a medium or a soft toothbrush.
So why are they made in the first place?
Well, they are made because the thinking is that you have to scrub your teeth.
Oh, okay.
But your teeth are not like tiles. You scrub them, they suffer. Right. So yes, we don't advise that. Okay. And you find on the market that the hard toothbrushes are the cheapest. So people tend to go for that. Right. And because many Ghanaians don't like visiting healthcare facilities, they end up trying to do everything by themselves. So when they see deposits around their teeth, then they feel like, ooh, the harder I scrub, the cleaner my teeth will get. That's why it's still on the market.
Okay. So that's a tongue scraper.
Yes, that's a tongue scraper.
Okay. Right. Okay.
So this is for cleaning your tongue after you've brushed your teeth, because we know that the tongue has bacteria on it, and bacteria acts on food that's left on your tongue, to release sulfide gases that make your mouth smell. So anyone who's concerned about their mouth smelling when they are around other people probably doesn't brush their tongue as much as they should.
Okay, right. Okay, so I see a floss.
Yes, this is floss, and this is the pig floss, but this is the string one. Okay, so the pig floss, usually I advise that you use it for the front teeth. Okay, because it allows you to be able to move left and right in front. But then when it comes to the back, there's limited space. So then you can use the string floss, wrap it around your finger, and be able to get into the areas that this won't allow you to get into.
Right.
So you roll it around your fingers, get it taut, and then go left to right, like a C shape around your teeth.
I'm sure you demonstrate that on the model for
Yes,
us.
yes.
Okay, and then I see a toothpaste there.
Yes, so the toothpaste I brought to show the quantity of toothpaste we should be using, because we don't want to overdo the fluoride that you accidentally swallow if you spit out, because the recommendation is not to rinse out, but to spit out after brushing.
Right. Okay, so before we get into brushing, right, there's this thing out there where you're not supposed to use fluoride toothpaste for your babies, for your kids. Is it true? Like, how true is that?
Okay, so the reason why that is so is because children are more likely to swallow the toothpaste that you use. They don't know how to spit at an early age. Okay, so we advise age-recommended concentration of fluoride. Okay, so when you buy the age-appropriate toothpaste, you'd have the recommended amount of fluoride on it. Usually 0 to 2. Some don't have fluoride in them. Okay, but then if you are using one that has fluoride, because you can, you just need to make sure that you use the right quantity. And the quantity for a child is a so the quantity for a child is the size of a rice grain.
Okay.
So a smear of toothpaste, something like this. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So imagine that you've put a rice grain on your toothbrush. That's how much toothpaste you should be using for, an infant.
Right.
Yes.
Otherwise they'll eat it all.
Yes, they will definitely. No, they can't spit, so they are going to swallow it.
And it's sweet. The kids' toothpaste is usually really sweet.
Yes,
so
yes.
They tend to eat it because
they end up eating it. Okay. Yes. So as you move from 2, 3 years, you can use a pea-size amount.
Okay, so what's that like?
Yes. So that is more like this.
Okay.
So the green peas you get in jollof.
Yeah.
So that's the size of a green pea, and that's what you should be using. So when you see them, the companies marketing from one end to the other, even as an adult, that's just too much for you.
Okay.
Yes, adults should also use pea-size amounts of toothpaste.
Right. Also, the colors and things like that was supposed to demonstrate how much toothpaste was.
Yes, exactly.
I have no idea. I just use my own quantity. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the more you use, the quicker it's going to finish, and then you need to buy more.
Okay.
But then, if you are following the recommendation and not rinsing after, you end up swallowing some of the remnants around your teeth, and fluoride that goes into the stomach can cause some discomfort, and we don't advise that.
Okay, so if some fluoride going to the tummy will cause discomfort, then why are we advised not to rinse?
So the thing is, if you rinse out, right, it's almost like, you have a skin condition and you've applied lotion on it so that the medication that you've applied is absorbed by the skin, and then you go and have a bath after. It doesn't have enough time to take effect. So with the fluoride that you use on your teeth through the toothpaste, we want it to stay on the tooth surface for some time to be able to work, exactly, for the tooth to be able to absorb the ions and then help the tooth get stronger.
Okay. So let's do the demo. I want to see what it's like to brush your child.
Okay. So I'm going to clean off my toothpaste onto the hard disqualified toothbrush. And so to be able to clean your child's teeth, you should also know how to clean your teeth. Because children are supposed to be supervised till the age of 7, sometimes 8 years. And to be able to brush yourself, you need to understand why I need to brush properly. So you need to brush properly because you have deposits from the food that you eat. You have bacteria in your mouth. And the deposits stay around the gum line. So I'll use this as my pointer. So this is the gum line.
Right.
Okay. So when you have food staying around your teeth, it usually piles up around this area. We don't want it to stay there because from this area, it tracks downwards underneath your gum. Okay, and that's when it causes serious problems. So when it is close to your gum line, your gums get inflamed, they get sore, and then they start to bleed when you brush. Now, exactly. So when you bleed when you are brushing, it's not because you are using excessive force. I mean, sometimes some people do that, but then other times, you've been really gentle, but you still see blood.
Right.
Okay. Now that's because your gums are not healthy. Okay. And your gums are not healthy because the deposits that have attracted bacteria around your teeth are irritating it. Okay. So then the advice is to hold the toothbrush at an angle of 45 degrees. Now you're not going to measure this, but then if you hold your toothbrush like this, that if we imagine that this is 90 degrees, okay, we are saying 45 degrees, that means you are tilting your wrist this way, okay, so then you get the angle, okay, and then you're holding it close to the gum line at this angle, and you're doing really small round strokes, okay. So some people will say you wiggle, but then when you do the small round strokes, you are essentially wiggling the deposits out here and then moving forward as you go. Okay. Now the recommended time is to do 2 minutes, okay? 2 times a day, okay? And that's how long you should brush. You don't want to exceed 2 minutes and then do 5 minutes or even go like for 10 minutes on a call or something of that sort, okay? And when you are brushing, okay, you want to make sure you cover all the surfaces, okay? So some people that I've seen in the clinic do the outside because that's what people see, and then they forget to clean the inside, okay? So what you can do is you tell yourself, okay, as I'm brushing, I'm doing all the outside first. I'm opening my mouth, and then I'm doing all the top. And then I'm opening my mouth again and doing all the inside. Okay. So almost 3 things you have to cover when you're brushing. So like this, round strokes, go all the way around. When you get here, you turn your hand and then you go this way, okay? You open your mouth, do the same for the bottom. You open your mouth, do the top surfaces, okay? Do the top as well here. And then you do the inside. So small round strokes like you are wiggling. Okay, but then remember when you get to the front, or you should know when you get to the front, that because your mouth is an arch, if you do this, you may not be covering the surfaces. So in the front areas, the front teeth at the bottom and at the top, you turn your toothbrush almost like this, so that you are touching the surfaces. Now you can choose to do small round strokes here as well, okay. And then clean that area.
Great. Yeah, I like that. But then my only concern is kids.
Yes.
Will you be able to do this for your child?
No. So
don't stand still long enough.
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually easier for you to do it for someone because then you are standing behind the person. So I assume that this is my child, okay? And my child is standing in front of me. This is the sink, okay? So my child is standing like this, okay? And then I'm standing behind him and I'm able to now angulate the toothbrush and do it the way I've been instructed. So you hold it at an angle of 45 degrees. You go around like this. With children, they won't stay for you to, do small and stay for a long time. Okay. But then at least the effort to try and get it right, with time, you get used to it. And then you're able to do it faster. Okay.
I mean, you're definitely right, because when my kids were like younger than 1, it was much more difficult. Now it's not too tricky. They can actually understand that, okay, you need to brush your teeth. And then they get the importance of brushing their teeth. Because they're always like, oh no, my teeth turn yellow. And then, then they stand still long enough.
So, I mean, in these early ages, you are just basically trying to get into the habit of, brushing morning and evening, okay? Try and cover as many surfaces as you can, and I know it's difficult. Children are, won't stand still for you to go through all this. But then if you know what you are doing, then as they grow older, you can teach them. Okay, and then when they are like 6, 7, when they are able to, stand still for longer, spit out, they would know that, oh, this is how I'm supposed to do it. Okay, and then they would understand.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
We learned so much. It's important to teach your kids, assist them, so that when they grow older, they are able to do it properly. All right, so that brings us to the end of today's episode. Today we learned so much from our lactation consultant, Jocelyn. We learned a lot about lactation cookies from Elikem, and then we also learned how to properly brush our teeth from Dr. Afol. And a big thank you to you for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms at MX24GH on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Talkative Mom. I can't wait to see you next week. Bye!
Hi there, I'm excited to come your way with football conversations, sports-related conversations, light-hearted, lifestyle-related conversations about the sport that we all love and are passionate about. Make a date with me.
What questions are on your mind? Does partisanship permeate